Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to this Extreme Warfare Revenge series. My name is Andy, the uncommentator for episode, I've forgotten again, I think it's 21 we're on now, of this series where we are booking Control Your Narrative for a calendar year, a Gregorian calendar year, for those of you that care about specifics like that. As you can see, we are currently on Thursday the 17th of June 2025. I'm recording this on the 6th of August 2025, so that's a Wednesday following SummerSlam 2025 that happened in the weekend. I'm not going to talk too much about that event because no one cares what I think, but one thing I will say, which I did find, I thought it was a little bit odd before, and then watching the event, I thought it transpired that, you know, I was right. I couldn't understand why they put all the gimmick matches on the second night. Like, if you look at the first night, I think it featured something like three. It was some. I mean, I can't remember, to be honest with you. I've slept since then. I mean, I slept during it as well, actually. But it was like three normal tag team matches, and then three normal singles matches. But then on night two, you had a triple threat. You had two matches where weapons were legal. You had a cage match. The Becky match was no holds barred or no DQ, whatever it was, and then the main event was billed as a street fight. You had the cage match, like I said, and then you had and then on top of that, you had the TLC match. So I couldn't quite work out why you wouldn't put a couple of the gimmick matches on night one. Like for me, like I thought the Becky match was really good actually. In fact, you could make. I mean, the main event was. If you like that type of match, if you like WWE main events, then that was the match for you. And I'm not saying I don't. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. But I thought the Becky match was probably the best match. But I think it suffered because of where it was on the card and because this Becky Lynch heel character kind of sucks really. Because every time she comes out to do a promo, you get bored really quick. Or I do anyway. And I feel like the live audience does as well. Anyway, that's my two pennies worth for what it's worth. They should have put more gimmick matches on night one. I think they would have gone over better, particularly the Becky match because that match was really good. But anyway, let's not talk about that. That's not important. What is important is what's going to be happening in this particular video, and we're going to be almost completing the build to our big June event, which will of course dwarf SummerSlam, and that is going to be taking place in 10 days' time on the 27th. And is going to be called Ascendance. So we've got 3 more weekly shows before that. So in this video, we're going to be booking the next 2. And then in the next video, we're going to be booking the Go Home show and then the event itself. I really have booked this too late. Set this too late in the calendar because I'm trying to stretch the build out for this event as long as I can, and I'm starting to struggle. But after this, we're nearly there. Like I said, we're doing the next 2 shows in this video, and then hopefully the card's pretty much there, and then the Go Home show should be fairly straightforward. So we'll skip on. Our next weekly show is going to be Liberty, taking place on Wednesday on prime time, of course, head to head with Dynamite. So let's see if we can keep up with the decent rating despite having a lot of competition from the second biggest promotion in the game according to this ranking. I think most people would say probably in real life as well, if they were being honest. Right, so on Wednesday the 18th of June, so let's book our next episode of Liberty. As I said, before I do that though, we'll just have a quick recap of where we finished the booking in the last video. So we did 2 videos, much like SummerSlam was 2 nights. I did 2 videos over that weekend, so you're welcome. So Mina Shirakawa challenged her friend / tag team partner Yuki to a match. Too Tough Tony beat Jervis Cottonbelly with the help of his tag team partner. Then we've got Chuck O'Neill and Joe Hendry sort of teaming up to take on this ever-growing Bullet Club War Dogs stable that's going on. Get Tree's Hands said that they're going to be at Ascendance and they are going to be doing an open challenge. Jonah beat Atomic Super Thunder Frog to help him warm up for his match with Shark Boy. We kept the Whisper and Richard Holliday feud going. And then speaking of feuds that we kept going, Sonny Kiss and Jake Atlas, we did a hype video for that. So of course, they're going to be taking each other on at Ascendance. And then finally, Chuck O'Neill took on another member of the Bullet Club War Dogs, and that match ended in a no contest when I think Bad Luck Fale ran in, if I remember correctly. It was either him or David Finlay anyway. So yeah, that's where we're at. So like I said, we're nearly there. The card's pretty much in place. If you've been following the series, you'll know what's going on. And if you haven't been following the series, shame on you. So we're going to kick things off with a match for once on Disruption, and it's going to be a continuation of something that is going somewhere, I can assure you. So it's going to be Corporal Robinson taking on Jervis Cottonbelly. So Corporal Robinson is, of course, the tag team partner of Too Tough Tony. And I don't know why I'm looking at that because we don't have any titles. And Corporal Robinson is going to win. So Corporal Robinson helped Too Tough Tony win. So guess what? Too Tough Tony is going to return the favour. And then they can double team Jervis Cottonbelly. Try and get him some sympathy. And this is going somewhere. Probably not where you expect, but it is going somewhere. So you can double team Jervis Cottonbelly. I don't know if I mentioned this in the last video, but I signed, since CZW went out of business, Jervis Cottonbelly now exclusively works for me. And he was on an open contract because he worked for CZW, but now they're out of business. I've given him an exclusive contract, so using him will be a lot cheaper than it was, which is good. Next up, we've got, of course, an angle, because we try and have as few matches as possible, as we know. And it's going to be an other angle. And again, another comedy segment, hopefully with Get Tree's hands. I haven't got an idea for it, but so Adam Scher and Grizzly Redwood. So, yeah, so like I said, there's some kind of, the writers will think of something, hopefully, some kind of, this is like, I've said this before, but this is my version of Better Than You, Baby, kind of unlikely allies that then end up producing quite funny segments. So, that would be the idea here. So I'm sure we can come up with something. Not quite sure what it would be. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they're in the gym working out, and you know you can see them both lay next to each other doing bench presses, and then one of them says to the, hey, why don't we swap Ben? You know, Grizzly could say something. I bet I could lift that. And you know, let's swap bench presses, and then they swap over, and then obviously Grizzly can't, so he ends up, you know, dropping the weights on himself, or something like that. Something that's hopefully a little bit funnier than that, but you get the idea. Or you could subvert it and have it that Grizzly can bench press Adam Scher's, but then Adam Scher can't bench press Grizzly's. That could be funny. Anyway, move on to another angle. And I think this one also comes under other angle. And it's worker thanks another for help, yep. So Joe Hendry is going to thank Chuck O'Neill for helping him with this fight against the Bullet Club War Dogs, taking on that match with Chase Owens. And then, I don't know, I put all my angles next to each other, but apparently I have. So we have an interview now. It's going to be a single worker with a manager. So EC3 for Jonah. EC3 not really a manager, but for the purpose of this storyline, he is. And it's going to be, of course, running down Shark Boy. And essentially what's going to happen here, so Shark Boy's going to be in action later, which we're going to be booking, and EC3 is promising that Jonah won't get involved. So Shark Boy's last match, Jonah did get involved, and he's saying that he's not going to do it this time. He's going to stay and watch. So promising that he won't get involved in his match. Up against Gable Stevenson, which is going to be coming up shortly. Then we're going to have another interview. Lexi Nair's going to be working overtime. She's going to run over to interview somebody else, and it's going to be Yuki. And she's going to talk about Mina I mean, I put verbal attack, but it's not really. So she's going to talk about Mina Shirakawa. So basically she's just going to say, you know, I never thought it had come to this. I never thought I'd be going one-on-one with, you know, someone I consider a friend rather than a tag team partner. And she's a bit distraught about having to face her, basically. That's essentially, she lays it on a bit thick. And then we go to the match that Jonah isn't going to interfere in. And it is Shark Boy and Gable Steveson, who has been suspended for drug use. I forgot about that. Okay, we're going to have to find somebody else quick. I forgot about that. So, really good planning for this video. That's annoying, because now I haven't really got anybody else who can face. Well, it's live, pal. I need to think of something. Yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot that Gable Steveson had gone into rehab. That is really irritating. Okay, so we can take. The thing is, like, I don't really want to pick Bateman because Bateman's the obvious one. But I don't want to pick Bateman because he's retired. He's in storyline. Chuck O'Neill's retired him. So we'll say he's taking. I'm just looking at who else we've got booked tonight. We'll say he's taking on. We'll just put. We'll just put Chase Owens. Why not? You can just say that promo earlier. Can just say, "Oh, I've called in a favour from, the War Dogs or something." I don't know. Yeah, sorry about that. I totally forgot about that. But like I said, it's live, pal. We need to keep going. So yeah, and Shark Boy is going to win this match. He would have beaten Gable Steveson, and he's going to win because EC3 is going to screw his interference up. So essentially, he promises that Jonah won't interfere, but then he interferes, if you get me. So, can you do... No, I was going to say, then, if I can't book this, but Jonah would then come out and attack Shark Boy. So he does, DC3 then grabs the mic and says, get him, get out here. But, the match is over now you can attack him. Then he comes out and attacks him. So, yeah, we'll say nothing, but that's what would happen in reality. And again, building up to the... keeping that vendetta going. Yeah, a bit annoyed about that. Yeah, well. Next up, something that I know I can book, and it's going to be a video package. And it's a hype video for a worker. And that worker is Hikaru Shida. So that just reminds people that she will be wrestling soon, because she hasn't really featured her, because I don't want to pay her, basically. So that's why. But we just need to... we need to remind people of that. And then on to our next match, another match that can actually take place because one of the people in it isn't suspended. And it's Chuck O'Neill taking on David Finlay this time. Another War Dogs match for Chuck. And again, this match isn't going to have a winner. So no contest or interference, and it's going to be Bad Luck Farley again that runs in. And again, I can't book this, but obviously Joe Hendry had come out and save Chuck O'Neill. So we'll just say 2-on-1 on Chuck O'Neill, but like I said, obviously Joe Hendry would come out and even the numbers up, and then Chase Owens would come out and uneven the numbers. You get the idea. Obviously I can't book that, but that's what would happen. And that's keeping up that build, basically saying Chuck O'Neill and Joe Hendry, they're trying their best, but they're outnumbered by the War Dogs. And then we've got a singles match. A singles challenge. A challenge for a singles match. There we go. So yeah, and it's going to be taking place at Ascendance. So it's going to be the Whisper challenging Richard Holliday. So he just basically says, "I'm sick of you in your mouth when you just get in the ring with me." Standard stuff to set up a match. And then we've got an interview, and I've kind of ruined this. I thought this happened in the last video, but it's going to happen here. So it's going to be Adam Scher, and Grizzly Redwood after their workout. And they are going to say that at Ascendance they will be doing... This is the Open Challenge promo, so they're going to say that they're going to be doing Open Challenge, basically. I don't know if I put that... I can't remember if I did that in the last video. If I did, then it doesn't matter. They can just hype it up. You get the idea. Just need to keep reminding people, come to our event because you'll see us wrestle. Then last but not least, the main event, is another tag team match player. And it is Jake Atlas and our good friend Brian Johnson. And they are taking on the team of Sonny Kiss and the Atomic Super Thunder Frog, our version of Mr. Iguana, who's back on TV, by the way. Which was interesting. I thought people had stopped caring about him, but apparently they don't. Imagine there's Triple Mania coming up, isn't it? So they've got to start drip feeding the AAA roster back onto the main show, so people watch it. Anyway, it's going to be Atomic's going to get. I think it's his first win. So Atomic is going to pin Brian Johnson. So the other two will just fight backstage, leaving those two, and then Brian takes the L. Clean victory, no aftermath. And of course, that's just keeping the bill ticking over for the Atlas and Sonny Kiss match. Right, we got there in the end. 4 matches eventually, lots of non-matches altogether. Trying to book someone who's suspended. But hey ho, let's go. I'm just looking now. Oh, sugar lumps. Yeah, I've got Gable Stevenson booked in the next match. In the next show. Right, okay, that's going to have to change then. That's it. I suppose I could always lift his suspension, but I'm not going to do that. So, I was going to hire... To be fair, I was going to hire somebody. I did... Once, after the next event, my plan was to hire... my plan was to hire somebody. A new heel, basically. So, I may do that early, because I don't know who I can put in this match with, in this tag team match. I don't have anybody. Okay. Anyway, let's see how this event does. So that was okay. Could have been better. Could have been certainly could have been worse. Yeah. So much for planning. Yep, that's good. So clearly been able to lift Adam Scherr's barbell, and that's not a euphemism. Worked out well there. Good. Very good. I mean, it wasn't really, but it was better than I was expecting. Good. And really good. Genuinely. Excellent. Brilliant. Fan-dabby-dozy. Well, that wasn't... To be fair, that was a bit disappointing. Atomic Super Thunder Frog's not very good. I've come to that conclusion, which is a bit of a shame, really, because his stats aren't that bad. Like, I didn't just hire him because he's called Atomic Super Thunder Frog. I mean, that was the main reason, but it wasn't the only one. Good. That was a really good show. That's one of the best weekly shows. In terms of a rating, in terms of the booking, it's not, but in terms of a rating, that's one of the best shows we've done, so that's pretty good. Okay, so we got a 1.07, 199, nearly 200 people came to watch that, so I'm assuming the network happy with the rating. That's the highest rating we've ever had. Yep, they're happy, good. So despite the fact we're against Dynamite, it's not affecting us. You probably should be, mate, to be honest with you. But hey ho. Right, so we'll crack on like a giant squid, and I need to just... I don't know who to put in this... I really wish I'd not done the Bateman retirement thing now, because I mean I could always go back on it, but I don't have anybody for this role, and I don't know if to just hire this job, or shall I just bring somebody in? Or we just stick them against the... we could just stick them against the Hatchet Boys. Again, but we've kind of done that rivalry. Okay, let's crack on. Okay, I'm a bit annoyed about that, actually. Because I had a bit of a plan. And it's not quite worked out as I was hoping. Oh well. I'll keep going till we get to Monday. Here we are. We're still 13th big. Let's just have a quick look. Not the cult level, right? Okay. Where? Yeah. Okay, we're still regional, of course. Right. Okay. So, I'm sorry. I'm still trying to think what to do about this booking dilemma. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I'll have to airdrop somebody else into it, I think. Okay. Right. Yeah. Okay. Let's just get on with it. So we're gonna kick things off, not with a match this time, but of course with an angle like we normally do. And it's going to be a challenge angle this time, rather than for the next big event. It's for tonight. I'm gonna have myself a real good time when I watch Maki Itoh go one-on-one with Yuki Kamifuku. So we'll go for the full name this time. So yeah, so essentially what happened here, you know, Maki would say, well, you know, we've both got big matches. We've both got big matches coming up at Ascendance. Let's have a warm-up match tonight against each other. And Yuki accepts that challenge. Then we do have another match, and again it's Bullet Club War Dogs in action. So it's Joe Hendry taking on Bad Luck Fale. And we are actually going to have a winner of this match, and it's going to be the Underboss, or whatever he's called. And it's going to be, again, young Finlay running in. And Chuck O'Neill will make the save. Now, I can't remember if... I mean, this is obviously building... You know, we're basically building to a 6-person tag at the event. So it's going to be everyone in the War Dogs against Chuck O'Neill, Joe Hendry, and then it's going to be Mystery Partner. But I can't remember if I've really booked that. But that's where we're going anyway. So that's what's going to end up happening. So... You know, I'm trying to drive on the point that Joe Hendry and Chuck O'Neill are outnumbered, so they're going to need somebody. They're going to need somebody to help them, basically. And yeah, that's where we're going. It's setting up a 6-person tag. So there we go. Yep. Next up, we're going to keep the Whisper feud going. Don't tell anybody. Whisper it quietly, and then ruin that joke. Anyway. So we're just going to have we'll just do a backstage sneak attack, why not? Some kind of backstage brawl. So Holliday attacks the Whisper from behind or something like that. Then we do the match between Maki and Yuki. So it's Maki Itoh. So she can have a concert interrupted, and Yuki is actually going to win this match, which may be a mistake, but she's going to win it by DQ. So Maki wanted this match as a warm-up, basically essentially whatever word you want to use would happen. Maki wanted this warm-up match, Yuki starts kicking her butt, and then Maki thinks, you know what, I don't want this warm-up match, and then he just whacks her with a microphone and, you know, on purpose or something like that. Now I don't think I can do the run. Oh yeah, I can. So run attack on Maki Itoh, and that's going to be Hikaru Shida. So Maki would get disqualified for hitting her with the microphone stand. Then she'd go to beat her up after the match. Hikaru Shida's music would hit. She'd come up with a kendo stick, and Maki would bail and run off. Again, just to set that match up. Okay, next up we've got an interview. And again, it's with Get Tree's Hands. So it's Adam Share, and Grizzly Redwood. And they are going to call out... Yeah, I'm going to have to airdrop the Hatchet Boys in for this match. So Toot of Tony and Corporal Robinson. So... yeah, they could just say, you know, oh, well, they've managed to pick up a couple of wins as singles over Jervis Cotton, and now all of a sudden they want a rematch with us. Well, you know, we'll show them... We'll show them, basically. I don't know. something not lame. They can say. Moving on from that, we go backstage, and it's going to be an interview. This time with Sonny Kiss, who's going to, of course, just talk trash about Jake Atlas even rather than Hatless. Well, he doesn't normally wear a cap, so maybe it was right the first time. Again, just hyping that match, that upcoming match, I should say. And then another video package before the main event. So it's going to be hyping up the rivalry between Jonah and Shark Boy. So just reminding people how we've got this far with that particular rivalry. And then finally, in the main event, it is the tag team match between Get Tree's Hands and the Hatchet Boys. So again, I suppose again they could mention this in the interview that they talk about. You know, if anyone that wants to take up the open challenge, this is what you're gonna have to. We'll show you what you're gonna be up against. If you get the idea, and of course they are going to win. But you know what? Jervis can help them. Why not? Get a little bit of revenge. It just keeps that little rabbit ticking over. That's actually not a bad little bit of a... I mean, it's not really good to have babyfaces winning by interference, but I think on that occasion it makes sense. So yeah, that kind of gets me out of that booking hole that I've dug myself. Okay, let's go. Good. The fact she's charismatic is really helping, because if she wasn't, then she really would be drowning. But she is, so she's not. That sucked, but oh well. That could have been better. That sucked, but I kind of knew it was going to. Good, that was good. That was good. That was good. And that was okay. Cool. So we started off slow and then picked up. Good. Yeah, Grizzly Redwood's just openness is just flying up, which is not the not the intention. But hey, you know, I'm not complaining. 193 people, so still not quite cracked 200, which is a shame. You should be, mate. You really should be, because you really are getting over this tag team. I mean, the point of this tag team is not to get Grizzly Redwood over, but hey, you know, I'm not complaining. The point of this tag team is just to try and do something fun. Yep, you don't say. Where's Jerry? Why doesn't Jerry tell me these things anymore? We're still paying in the big bucks, and he's not here. Anywho, that's it. So we've now got one more show to go before our June event. So let's keep this video under half an hour and sign off. So if you did enjoy this video, then please like and share the video. You can also leave a comment on the video should you choose to do that. While you're here on YouTube, if you head on over to the channel, The Uncommentator, you will find the rest of the videos in this playlist. You'll also find a myriad of other content that I think you will enjoy. If you like wrestling, then I have also played this game before, where I booked a different promotion, this time PWG. Also, I played WWE Crush Hour for the PlayStation 2. And if you do care what I think about real life wrestling, then I've made 4 videos about WrestleMania and done some kind of weird fantasy booking. So if that is your sort of thing, then please go and check that out. If you don't like wrestling, then I'm not quite sure how you watched this 28-minute video about wrestling. But if that is the case, then there is plenty of other content for you to enjoy, including Pokemon, including South Park Rally, including Star Fox, including FIFA Street, and including other things that I can't remember. But join me next time. We're going to be moving on to our big June event. It's going to be the Ascendance in the next video. Got the Go Home show and then the event itself. But until we get to that point, for now, from me, it is sayonara.